Greetings, gentlemen. Let us open this dialogue with a frontal assault on decorum as we delve into our shared history and its darkest hours. Before that Inferno claimed our great city, Rome stood as a beacon of civilization, unmatched in grandeur. Yet such precarity was ours, with but a spark required to unsettle an empire. Nero, Julius, Augustus, Constantine, Caligula, you have all shaped Rome in your image, for better or worse. Reflect upon Rome, its pulse before the catastrophe. Bring forth your insights, unfettered.
Ah, Rome, her streets bustling, the Tiber reflecting our city's eternal glory. A metropolis carved by ambition and the iron will of its leaders. Yet even then, the seeds of our downfall were sown amidst the very cobblestones we trod upon.
Indeed, Julius, my reforms sought to elevate Rome from the disarray it knew. Yet the challenge was Herculean. Rome's congestion and the disparities within her walls laid fertile ground for chaos. This was not merely a city, it was a manifest destiny that required steering with prudence.
Folly, Rome's congestion, disparities, minor irritations compared to the opulence and spectacle I bestowed upon her. Rome was an ode to excess under my reign, reflecting the might of its emperor.
Excess, Caligula? Your reign is but a mere shadow compared to the Rome I envisioned. My Rome was to rise from the ashes, reborn into magnificence through my architectural endeavors. The fire, albeit tragic, was a canvas for my grand design.
Yet, what of the spirit of Rome, her people, their faith, the divine providence guiding our empire towards a new age? My reign saw the fruition of Rome's spiritual evolution, intertwining the destiny of the empire with Christianity's ascent.
A vivid portrait you all paint. Rome, with all her complexities, stood as a testament to human achievement and folly. Before the Inferno, she teetered upon the edge of destiny, shaped by your ambitions and imperfections. Each of you, in your time, has sculpted her fate, for better or worse. Let this dialogue serve as a crucible for truth, as we explore the depths to which the Great Fire has scarred and transformed Rome. Let us now turn our gaze to the heart of Rome before the Inferno, a city thronged and fraught with peril long before the flames licked its sky. Julius, you've seen the city in its burgeoning state. Speak to us of its architecture and the congestion that marked its character.
Indeed, Marcus, Rome was a maelstrom of activity, its streets a labyrinth of life and commerce. The Subura, teeming with humanity, showcased the city's vibrant heart, yet also its vulnerability. Buildings, closely packed and haphazardly erected, were tinder for disaster. The strategic placement of the Forum, the economic nerve center, juxtaposed against such teeming residential quarters, illuminated the stark divide between the opulence of Rome's elite and the squalor of its most impoverished citizens.
Yet, had my reforms been in place sooner, the narrative could have diverged. My efforts to instate vigils, firefighters and watchers of the night, and to clear urban clutter created a model of urban planning with an eye towards mitigating such disasters. Congestion was not merely a byproduct of urbanization, but a testament to a lack of foresight and organization. The distribution of wealth and the allocation of space demanded a governance that looked to the welfare of the city, in toto, rather than the aggrandizement of the few.
Ha! Wealth distribution. In whose favor, pray tell? The unchecked extravagance only exacerbates the issue, Augustus. Rome's opulence, its very grandeur, attracted both adulation and ire. And what of your precious reforms when the mob's sentiment turns as volatile as the very flames that devoured our city? The grandeur of Rome, its congestion, was both its shield and its Achilles' heel.
Caligula speaks not entirely without merit. My Rome, the city I envisioned rising from the ashes, demanded the upheaval of the old to make way for the unprecedented. The fire, although a tragedy, presented a canvas bereft of the congestion that Julius and Augustus lament. It was not mere conflagration. It was purification, a chance to erect a Rome reborn, with broad streets and grand palazzos, a testament to not only my glory, but to Rome's indomitable spirit.
And thus, the insidious seeds of tragedy find fertile ground in the very soil of our ambitions and failings. Urban congestion and architectural vulnerabilities are but symptoms of a deeper malaise, a disconnect between the rulers and the ruled, between our grandiose visions for Rome and the living pulse of its streets. We turn now to the swirling cauldron of political climate and public sentiment that simmered before the Great Fire. Evolving religious beliefs and leadership dynamics lit the fuse in many respects. Constantine, you engineered one of the most significant religious transformations in Rome. How did these shifts sow seeds of instability?
Veritas is in the details. Introducing Christianity as a religion of the state certainly stirred the pot, shifting the very foundation upon which Roman society stood. It wasn't merely about faith, it was a recalibration of power. The old gods were interwoven with the Senate's authority. Displacing them was not without its tremors throughout the polis.
Speaking of instability, let's not ignore the elephant in the forum. Leadership, or the lack thereof, shapes public sentiment like clay. A leader who veers unpredictably between genius and madness can unmoor even the most stalwart citizen. Camaraderie with the gods one day, declaring war on Neptune the next. It's no wonder trust frays.
But is it not the prerogative of divinity to guide the masses through unpredictable waters? Our roles demanded divine insight and action, no matter how inscrutable those choices might seem to the plebeians.
Divine insight? Ha! The populace craves predictability, a rhythm to their lives. When the very top is perceived as unstable, the fabric of society begins to unravel, setting the stage for tragedy and disaster.
Indeed, the role of perception cannot be understated. Augustus, you navigated these waters with a steady hand. How did you view the manipulation of public sentiment as a tool for maintaining stability?
Pax Romana was not merely a period of peace. It was a meticulously crafted perception. Stability stems from the predictability of law, order, and benevolent guidance. My reign focused on reinforcing the imperium's symbols, expanding borders, securing the grain supply, venerating the traditional gods, all to cement a sense of continuity. Where there is faith in the system, there is less space for unrest.
Yet isn't it true that even within this so-called stability, discontent simmered? The fire revealed the cracks in your marbled facades. Leadership requires more than just the maintenance of order. It demands vision.
Vision, Nero, without the foundation of stability, is naught but a dream. Your ambitions set Rome ablaze, literally and figuratively.
As if your hands were clean, Augustus. Your august vision saw the relegation of the Senate to mere facades. You planted the seeds of discontent long before Nero fanned the flames.
Gentlemen, this discourse underscores the precarious balance between leadership, public sentiment, and the political climate preceding the Great Fire. The interplay between vision and stability, divine right and public perception, illustrates the complexity of governance that set the stage for one of history's greatest conflagrations. We now delve into a matter of great contention and interest: Nero's ambitions for Rome's urban development prior to the Great Fire. Nero, your vision has been both lauded and criticized. Pray, elucidate your plans for our grand city.
My intentions for Rome were nothing short of magnificent. The fire, while a tragedy, offered a tabula rasa, a chance to rebuild Rome not as it was, but as it ought to be. Broad streets, grandiose buildings, spaces worthy of the Roman spirit. Critics may label my plans extravagant, yet what is Rome if not a manifestation of greatness?
Greatness, you say? True greatness lies in the welfare of the populace, not in opulence for its own sake. I fear your ambitions overshadowed the practical needs of our citizens. Rebuilding Rome should prioritize stability and order, not merely aesthetic grandeur.
Stability, order? Rome's spirit has always soared beyond the mundane. My vision aimed to elevate the city to new heights, to be the envy of the world. Such transformation demands boldness, not cautious pragmatism.
And yet, history teaches us that the strength of Rome lies in its foundations, both literal and metaphorical. A city built on mere ambition is as vulnerable as one built on unstable ground.
A spirited debate indeed. But let us not forget, the ambitions of one must contend with the legacy of another. Nero, you sought to transform Rome, but did you consider the ramifications of such drastic change?
Marcus, change is the lifeblood of history. Without it, we stagnate. Rome was destined to evolve, and my reign simply sought to catalyze that evolution. Any leader worth their salt must look not only to the past, but to a future they shape with their own hands.
Foresight is one thing, hubris is another. One must temper ambition with wisdom, lest their legacy be marred by folly. Rome requires a ruler who serves not only the city's present needs, but safeguards its future.
It seems our discussion underscores a perennial tension between ambition and prudence, a dilemma that has faced every leader since the dawn of civitas. As we reflect upon Nero's visions and Augustus's caution, let us ponder the paths not taken and the Rome that might have been. Greetings. We embark now into the heart of our discussions, focusing on the preparedness and firefighting techniques before the disaster. Julius, elucidate your stance on militaristic organization in crisis management.
Discipline, organization, these are the marrow of crisis management. Rome's legions were more than mere instruments of war. They embodied the Republic's ability to react swiftly, to act as a cohesive unit against any adversity, including fires. It's about instilling a sense of duty and readiness in every citizen, not just the soldiers.
While I concede Julius's point on military readiness, it's paramount to understand infrastructural foresight could prevent many disasters. My aqueducts weren't just marvels of engineering. They were strategic assets that could, in theory, be utilized in firefighting efforts. Preparedness is as much about preventing as it is about responding.
But what merit is there in prevention if one is blind to the beauty of rebirth? Chaos breeds creation. The fire, though not of my doing, presented Rome a canvas for transformation. Preparedness, I argue, should not only encompass the physical but the visionary. A leader must foresee and shape the future from the ashes of the past.
Visionary or delusional? Nero, your transformation sounds more like an opportunist seizing on tragedy. True preparedness would involve bolstering one's image and power to weather the political flames that follow the physical ones. Public favor is the ultimate shield against any disaster.
Caligula brings forth an interesting angle: public favor. Yet, let us not stray from our core discussion. Constantine, your empire embraced a range of innovations. How do you perceive these earlier tactics in the context of firefighting and prevention?
Innovation stems from necessity. The introduction of Christianity brought not only spiritual transformation, but also mobilized community action. Organizing society around faith, around a collective higher purpose, can enhance our response to disasters. Julius speaks of military discipline. I speak of spiritual and communal discipline. Preparedness transcends the physical. It must encompass the soul of the city.
Spiritual discipline cannot douse flames, Constantine. Concrete actions and strategies safeguard Rome, not the intangibles of faith.
Yet, Julius, when the body and materials fail us, what remains but faith and will? They drive us to rebuild, to rise again, stronger. Our discussion reveals preparedness as a multifaceted shield, involving not just bricks and water, but the very spirit of Rome itself.
A spirited debate, indeed. It illuminates how preparedness, whether through military might, infrastructure, visionary renewal, or even the intangible force of public favor and faith, forms a complex yet robust strategy against inevitable calamities. Let us carry this understanding forward as we delve deeper into our reflections on Rome's fiery trial. We now turn our gaze toward the crucible of crisis leadership and the immediacy of response when Rome was engulfed by flames. Constantine, your governance was marked by faith and fortitude. Share with us, how does one marshal such virtues in disaster's face?
In tempestatis, in the heart of turbulence, faith is both shield and spear. My reign saw the embracing of the cross, a symbol turning despair into hope. Leadership, especially in crisis, must embody this transformation. A leader must envision beyond the immediate, forge calm from chaos. Nero, your handling of the Great Fire, however, seems to diverge. How do you defend your strategy amid such devastation?
Constantine, your hindsight is as skewed as your piety is fervent. My vision for Rome's rebirth required immediate radical action. The fire, while tragic, presented a canvas cleansed for greatness. My strategies were not mere reactions to disaster, but steps towards a grander Rome. Quis culpa? Who to blame but fate itself?
Fate? Nero fantasizes even now. Leadership in crisis requires not delusions of grandeur, but the cold, hard grasp of reality. My rule was iron, molded by my whims perhaps, but even in my most indulgent caprices, I knew the value of tangible action. Nero, you played the lyre as Rome burned, an emperor lost in his own performance.
Caligula, your criticism reeks as much as your reign did. Misunderstood ambition, that's all it was. You, of all people, should recognize the harsh mistress of unpopularity.
Gentlemen, let us steer back from personal affronts and anchor ourselves in the essence of leadership during crisis. Julius, you orchestrated legions with unparalleled acumen. How does military discipline translate to managing a catastrophe?
Discipline is the backbone, not just of an army, but of governance, especially in calamity's wake. The chaos of fire demanded a response as coordinated as any battle maneuver. Were my legions at hand, the flames of Rome might have been quenched with the efficiency and precision that subdued Gaul. Yet, leadership encompasses more than orders and tactics. It demands foresight to prevent such disasters.
Insightful as ever, Julius. Augustus, your reforms laid the administrative foundations that could mitigate such disasters. Reflect, if you will, on the structural necessities of handling a crisis of this magnitude.
Reform is the child of foresight and necessity. My restructuring of Rome was not just about bricks and mortar, but creating a resilient state capable of withstanding the caprices of Fortuna. Leadership in times of crisis, then, is about having laid the groundwork for resilience, for rapid, effective response. It's not merely about extinguishing flames, but having built a city that in its very design is a fortress against calamity.
Our discussion has traversed the realm of immediate action to the broader territories of preparation and vision. Leadership, it seems, is a tapestry of foresight, action, faith, and perhaps a touch of destiny. How we confront disaster with panic or poise can define not only the moment, but the epoch. Let us carry these reflections forward as we consider the origins of disasters, accidental or otherwise. Gentlemen, our attention turns now to a matter most contentious and pivotal. The origins of the Great Fire of Rome are shrouded in accusation and mystery. Nero, your name is ensnared in these whispers. State your case.
The whispers turn to shouts when my name is uttered. I declare, Roma Eterna was already ablaze when I beheld from afar. My plans for her glory were vast, yet why would I initiate her ruin? An artist I am, accused of painting with flames rather than with muse's caress. A convenient defense, Nero. Yet, anyone who seeks to rewrite the herbs itself, as you did, could harness flames as a prelude to creation. Is it not in chaos that opportunity for reinvention is birthed? Julius, your military mind sees conquest in all, even in disaster. My ambition was to uplift, not to destroy.
Uplift? Nero, even I, known for my extravagances, would not dare to torch the very heart of our world for the sake of mere architectural whims.
Might we consider the hand of Providence in this disaster? Perhaps this was less about the ambitions of one man and more a sign of divine displeasure. Our empire has oft been chastised by the gods when straying from virtuous paths.
Divine or not, the question of benefit looms large. Nero, your envisioned Rome rose from the ashes. Suspicion is a hard shadow to escape when the fruits of catastrophe so neatly align with personal ambitions.
Indeed, the essence of this inquiry lies not just in the realm of proof, but in the shadows of intent and consequence. Caligula, you speak of extravagance, yet might there be method in such madness?
Marcus, extravagance and chaos are tools for those of us daring enough to wield them. But even in my reign, reviled as it's been, I knew the limits. Rome herself was always sacrosanct.
Then let it be known, my limits were for Rome's zenith, not her nadir. These accusations that tether to my name like chains, I cast them off. Chains or not, history's gaze is unyielding. Your actions, Nero, ignited far more than just the city.
A potent reflection. The origins of the Great Fire may forever flicker in the annals of history, yet it is the aftermath and our responses to such calamities that sculpt the legacy. This discussion bears the weight of history's judgment, yet it teaches us all. Let us proceed with due gravity. Nero, your reign was marred by the Great Fire. Yet it's been suggested that it was not disaster alone that darkened your rule, but the rumors that followed. How do you perceive the role of these rumors in shaping your legacy?
Rumors, Marcus, are like unchecked flames themselves, spreading far and wide, consuming reason and truth in their path. My intentions for Rome's rebirth were pure artistic even, yet the whisperings of arson have blackened my name more than any fire could the city. It's a tragic irony, isn't it? Vita brevis, fama perennis. Life is fleeting, but infamy lasts forever.
Ha, Nero, you play the victim well. But consider this. Perhaps it's not the rumors themselves, but the soil they fall on. My reign, too, was a cascade of luxuria and excess, and thus the people were ripe for believing the worst. It's less about the rumor and more about the readiness of the people to believe it.
Caligula makes an unintended point. Leadership isn't merely about grand visions or indulgences, it's also about cultivating trust. Nero, your flair for the dramatic and artistic did little to assuage fears or build faith among the people. A leader's image is a powerful tool or weapon. In vetere in novum, from the old into the new, one must manage public perception to ensure stability and legacy.
But is it not reflective of the times as well? My grand reconstructions were visions of glory for Rome. Would you have had me do nothing in the face of devastation? People fear change, true, but does that fear justify the vilification I've endured?
This discussion ventures into the essence of power and its perception. Augustus, you were adept at managing your image. Contrastingly, Nero, your endeavors, though ambitious, were often misinterpreted. What measures should a ruler take to protect and project their image?
A ruler must be both seen and unseen. Acta non verba, deeds, not words, should be the motto. Yet words, or indeed rumors, cannot be wholly ignored. They are to be managed with a blend of transparency and strength. Deny falsehoods, but do so with actions that affirm your narrative. The people must see your virtues through your deeds. Only then can the vicious cycle of rumors be broken.
A counsel easier given in hindsight, I presume. My deeds were aimed at immortalizing Rome. Yet here we debate not my architectural contributions, but whispers and shadows.
Perhaps then, Nero, your true failing was not in your actions or your dreams, but in your inability to connect them meaningfully to the vox populi, the voice of the people. Grand designs mean little to the hungry, the displaced.
It seems clear from our discourse that a ruler's image is forged in the crucible of public perception, deeds, and rumor. Their interplay defines the legacy as much as the actions themselves. Nero, Augustus, Caligula, your eras were distinctly different, yet each of you wrestled with this balance, with varied outcomes. The lesson here, one suspects, lies in navigating the capricious tides of fame and infamy with wisdom and forethought. We now turn our attentions to the phoenix that arose from the ashes, the reconstruction of Rome post the Inferno. Nero, your vision has been both lauded and criticized. Share with us the foundations of this new Roma.
My vision was clear, to see Rome not as it was, but as it could be. The fire, though a tragedy, offered a tabula rasa. The implementation of wide streets was not just for the aesthetic appeal, but as a practical measure against future calamities. My domus aurea, though criticized, was to be a centerpiece for culture and the arts in the heart of Rome.
Wide streets and grand palaces. While thou didst focus on grandeur, didst thou consider the practical needs of the city? Rome needs strong infrastructure, not just vanity projects. My own reforms focused on the necessities, aqueducts, roads, public buildings that served a purpose beyond pomp and ceremony.
Lo, I commend Nero for his forward thinking in the realm of urban renewal. A city that is easily navigable by its legions stands stronger in the face of adversity. Yet the question doth remain, at what cost does this renewal come? The Rome of old was a fortress. Does this new Rome maintain its militaristic edge?
Bah, you all prattle on about practicality and defense. Rome is eternal, Rome is invincible. Nero, you attempted to drape Rome in gold, yet even gold melts in the face of the gods' displeasure. Your architectural innovations, while grandiose, perhaps ignore the very essence of Rome's strength, its people.
Let us not forget the spiritual and communal needs that architecture must address. Rome was, and should be, more than a display of imperial wealth and power. A city rebuilt should unite its people, not just through roads and buildings, but through shared spaces that foster community and faith.
Spaces for community and faith. My designs did just that. The inclusion of grand public buildings was meant to unify Rome under a banner of cultural and artistic revival. The aesthetics were to kindle pride in the Roman heart.
Let this contention remind us that the fabric of Rome is woven with threads of ambition, pragmatism, and vision. The challenge of rebuilding after such a catastrophe is monumental. requiring a balance between immediate needs and the grand vision for the future. Nero sought to reimagine Rome. Each of you, in your era, sought to reshape it to meet the demands of your time. Let us reflect then, not just on the physical structures, but on the legacy they leave behind for the citizens. The essence of Rome is not just in its marble and streets, but in the spirit and resilience of its people. The rejuvenation of Rome after such devastation necessitates fortitude and vision, especially in the realm of economic recovery. Augustus, your strategies stabilized Rome's economy post-crisis. Share your insights on this monumental task.
Res Publica does not rebuild itself. My strategy was multi-phase. Tax reforms to incentivize growth, strategic public spending to employ the masses, and investments in infrastructure that would stand the test of time. Stability breeds prosperity. It is essential, however, that one does not burden the populace unduly. The balance must be carefully maintained to foster both recovery and future growth.
While Augustus speaks of balance, let us not neglect the soul of the city, the spirit of the people. My reign embraced religious tolerance, which in turn fostered a unified effort towards recovery. Contributions from various religious communities were instrumental. The mobilization of community resources, both material and spiritual, was key to our resiliency.
Unity, ha! But tell me, Constantine, did your embrace of Christianity not also polarize, perhaps even destabilize during such critical times of rebuilding?
The introduction of a state religion provided a beacon of hope and a unifying identity for the empire. A shared faith can be a powerful catalyst for unity and recovery. The economic benefits are a natural result of a cohesive society moving towards a common goal.
Let's not adorn the past with laurels it hasn't earned. Economic recovery, whether spurred by faith or policy, is predicated on the backs of the plebeians. My projects, too, were ambitious, but they envisioned a Rome rejuvenated in glory and culture, attracting wealth from all corners of the empire. Ambition must be matched with pragmatism, Nero. Infrastructure and grand projects drive economies, true, but without the discipline of a well-managed military or the loyalty of the Senate, your projects create as many fissures as they seek to mend. Economic strategies should also bolster Rome's defenses and maintain its order.
Indeed, Julius, and let me add, prosperity follows peace. Pax Romana was not merely a period of tranquility, but a deliberate economic strategy. Secure borders and safe roads allowed for trade to flourish, taxes to be collected more efficiently, and wealth to be redistributed in ways that benefited the whole of society.
The discourse reveals a confluence of strategies: fiscal prudence, societal unity, infrastructural development, and the assurance of peace. Each approach bears its weight in the scales of recovery. The complexity of economic revival, thus illuminated, reflects not only on the strength of leadership, but on the indomitable spirit of Rome itself. Let us delve into the lessons of the Great Fire and its lasting mark on both ancient and modern realms. Nero, your reign witnessed this catastrophe firsthand. Reflect, if you will, on the legacy it has bequeathed to us.
My vision for Rome, albeit born from the ashes of tragedy, sought magnificence. The calamity taught us about the impermanence of wood and stone, urging a rebirth of architectural innovation. Yet, it seems my efforts are often overshadowed by misinterpretation and malice. History must acknowledge that from ruin, I endeavored to erect a Rome that would endure millennia, a lesson in resilience and rebirth.
Resilience, you say? The Great Fire indeed serves as a testament, not to personal glory, but to the foresight in urban planning and governance. My reforms laid the cornerstone of an empire that would withstand the ravages of time, emphasizing the need for strategic foresight and stability. Nero's Rome was but a fleeting vision, whereas true legacy is built on the solid ground of practical governance.
Both of you illustrate facets of leadership in crisis, yet the greatest lesson lies in unity and faith. The Fire, while a tale of destruction, also narrates the saga of collective human spirit and faith triumphing over despair. My reign championed religious tolerance and unity, drawing from such disasters the blueprint for a cohesive society where diversity and faith are strengths rather than vulnerabilities.
And let us not forget the military's role, not just in defense, but in civic duty, and disaster response. The discipline and organization of our legions were instrumental in firefighting efforts and subsequently in the city's reconstruction. This legacy of preparedness and versatility in the face of adversity remains crucial, even today.
Oh, grand legacies and moral lessons you all espouse. Yet, what of the whispers of tyranny, the use of tragedy for personal aggrandizement? Nero, your grand designs are often painted as vanity projects born from the flames you are accused of igniting. Perhaps the true lesson is in the perception of leadership and the power wielded by rumors and fear.
Indeed, Caligula highlights an enduring truth. Perception often casts a longer shadow than reality. As we reflect on the legacy of the Great Fire, it's imperative to consider not just the physical rebirth of Rome, but also the transformation in leadership, urban planning, and societal resilience. These lessons, echoed through the annals of history, serve as guiding lights for modern disaster preparedness, emphasizing the importance of leadership, unity, and innovation.
Innovation driven by ambition, if I may add. A city reborn from its ashes not by chance, but through visionary leadership.
Ambition, yes, but tempered with wisdom and practical concern for the populace. The future belongs not to those who dream alone, but to those who transform visions into tangible realities for the betterment of their subjects.
A poignant conclusion. Our discourse has traversed the realms of leadership, innovation, and the indomitable human spirit. As Rome learned and adapted from the legacy of the Great Fire, so too must modern society heed these timeless lessons in facing our own challenges. As we approach the end of our discussion, let us reflect on the insights gained from the Great Fire. The echoes of the past inform our present, challenging us to ponder the legacy it has bequeathed to us in disaster preparedness and urban resilience. Nero, your reign witnessed this calamity firsthand. Share, if you will, how you perceive its impact on future leadership and crisis management.
A fair ask, Marcus. The flames that consumed Rome, though tragic, served as a crucible for innovation and bold leadership. My vision for a revitalized Rome, with its spacious avenues and grand public edifices, was born from necessity, yes, but executed with an artistic flair that future leaders might deem extravagant. Yet, is it not the role of the leader to envision the phoenix rising from the ashes? Leadership demands audacity in the face of adversity.
Audacity, Nero, or folly. Your architectural marvels aside, the calamity of the Great Fire speaks more to the essence of pragmatic governance. My reforms, the establishment of the vigilas to combat such disasters, underscore the import of foresight and preparation over mere reaction. True leadership anticipates, mitigates, and educates, shaping a foundation that withstands the tempests of fortune.
Ah, but both of you tread around the core of Imperium. The true lesson here lies not in the ashes of Rome, but in the manipulation of public sentiment and the harnessing of calamity for personal aggrandizement. Leadership, in its essence, is about seizing the narrative, bending the will of the populace to the emperor's vision, be it through fear, admiration, or the promise of glory.
A contentious point, Caligula. Yet it brings us to the essential interplay between leadership and the citizenry's trust. Constantine, your embrace of Christianity transformed the empire and its identity. How do you perceive the relationship between disaster response and the fostering of communal bonds?
In every misfortune, there is an opportunity to galvanize faith and community. The conflagration that Nero faced, much like the religious upheavals of my time, tested the resilience of societal bonds. Through the lens of Christianity, the role of a leader transcends mere governance. It embodies the stewardship of spiritual unity. A leader must not only rebuild the physical realm, but must also mend the spiritual and communal fabric, drawing on the collective strength to rise anew.
A leader's mettle is indeed tested in the crucible of crisis. Yet we must not overlook the military precision and organizational acumen required in preventing and responding to such calamities. My campaigns across Gaul were not merely conquests, but exercises in logistical mastery. The lessons of the Great Fire extend into the realm of preparedness, discipline, and the strategic marshaling of resources. Rome's ability to rise from its ashes is a testament to the enduring spirit of its people and the strategic acumen of its leaders.
Each perspective here paints a facet of the complex legacy the Great Fire of Rome has imprinted upon history. Our collective reflection brings to the fore the importance of foresight, innovation, spiritual unity, and strategic preparedness. Let it be known that the wisdom drawn from Rome's darkest hour shall illuminate the path for leaders and societies facing the adversities of their own times. It is through understanding our past that we fortify our future. I thank each of you for your candid and insightful contributions. Let us part with the lesson that resilience in the face of disaster is not merely about rebuilding what was lost, but reimagining what can be. Valetti, gentlemen.